tonight with breaking news out of Middletown. That's where one man is dead as part of a shooting that involved a police officer. Local 12's Paige Barnes joins us now live in Middletown with the details of this shooting. Paige.
Good evening, Kyle. Middletown police were called to Old Town Apartments just after 7 for two men fighting. Police union rep says officers knocked on the door, identifying themselves multiple times as officers. The suspect allegedly opened the door with a gun pointed towards the officer. Now, that's when the officer shot the man. Now, we're told the other man is cooperating with police, and we do not know if he was armed or not. Now, a neighbor also said that he heard 6 to 7 shots, but didn't hear the fighting leading up to the police-involved shooting.
Playing the game, playing 2K actually, and I heard like shots, 6, 7 shots go off. I look outside and I ain't see nothing, and then people started texting my phone and stuff, and then I seen the police come up, and then, you know, people, my mom, she got a call that somebody got shot.
The union rep we spoke to says officers are trained to fire first when a suspect points a firearm at them, and we don't know if there were any words exchanged between the officer and the suspect. We'll keep you posted. Live in Middletown, Paige Barnes, Local 12 News.
Well, we are learning more about an officer-involved shooting on East Brainerd Road. We now know the person shot has died. TBI special agents are handling the investigation into what happened. Grayson Gordon has more.
Just after noon Tuesday, Chattanooga police responded to reports of a man armed with a knife on East Brainerd Road. The preliminary investigation indicates the subject made a break for the woods nearby after officers arrived at the scene. Here's the emergency radio traffic that could be heard.
Seatbelt in progress. We're about 100 yards back in the wood. Severe laceration to his neck and his right arm.
TBI's release says officers gave verbal commands for Roberto Carlos Rodriguez Zayas to drop the knife, but for reasons still under investigation, the situation escalated. At least 2 officers fired at Zayas, and he died at the scene. Emergency responders from the scene were communicating to crews on their way to the scene.
Also, multiple gunshot wounds.
The TBI says that this is the 5th officer-involved shooting this year. There was 1 in January, 2 in February, and the last one in October before the one that happened Tuesday. Those happened in Hamilton County, East Ridge, and inside Chattanooga city limits. The officers involved are on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure. Next, the TBI will share their findings with the district attorney's office, and the general will determine whether the officers' actions were justified. Reporting in Chattanooga, Grayson Gordon, Local 3 News.
Man is dead, and Kentucky State Police is investigating after a London police officer was involved in a shooting earlier in Laurel County. WYMT's Madison Carmouche spoke to his neighbors about what they witnessed.
Neighbors on Van Zant Road are coming together after the death of one of their own Monday evening.
I am the tenant or the landlord of this property. It belongs to my father, which is in a nursing home, and I'm the guardian over my father.
Monty Hart says since he began checking on the tenants, there has not been any issues, especially not to this degree.
It's quiet as a mouse. I mean, nobody, this guy right here wouldn't bother nobody. I mean, he didn't. You know, he was a very helpful person.
The man's neighbor, Bill Harris, agrees it is a quiet neighborhood, which is why the noise on Monday night alarmed him.
Well, I heard a whole bunch of commotion going on, and this one siren come up and it shut off right in my front door. So I thought that was in my driveway, and I opened the door and there was, and I hauled down through here too.
Harris and Hart say the man was someone they could talk to and count on in the neighborhood.
This is devastation on Christmas Eve morning to get this news, and I talked to his daughter, and it's terrible.
Hart adds he hopes officials are able to figure out what happened. In Laurel County, Madison Carmouche, WYMT Mountain News.
No other injuries were reported, and the man's identity has not been released. We will continue to update you as we learn more on WYMT.com and the WYMT News app.
We're learning more information about a deadly shootout with law enforcement after a vehicle chase in Morgan County yesterday. Officers with the Priceville Police Department attempted to stop a car that was reported stolen. The Morgan County Sheriff's Office says the vehicle drove off, leading officers on a chase along Highway 67, I-65, and 565 before stopping at Thompson Road and Bird Road. According to the Alabama law enforcement agency, Drew Patterson Banks got out of the car with what appeared to be a handgun, but was later determined to be a full-size replica of a handgun. The Sheriff's Office says Banks shot at deputies and deputies shot back, killing him. No officers were injured, and Aaliyah is continuing its investigation.
See that video right there? Right now, we are continuing to bring you coverage of the incident at the Killeen Mall. The incident capturing national attention over the weekend, and here's the details that 6 News gathered so far. So as of last check, the Texas Department of Public Safety says that 4 people were taken to the hospital with injuries. A 5th person took themselves to the hospital. The ages of the victims, they range from as young as 6 years old all the way to 75 years old. According to DPS, the events unfolded just before 5 p.m. There was a car chase that started in Belton, but it ended at the Killeen Mall. The driver barreled into the JCPenney, running over several people.
They shot him. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, they shot him.
So the suspect was shot and killed by a state trooper, and according to DPS, he was originally being pulled over for possibly driving while intoxicated before that violent crash. Well, this morning, we are learning more about the driver. Texas DPS identifies the suspect as John Schultz right here on your screen of Kempner. And according to records, Schultz, he has at least 1 charge of driving while intoxicated. This one happened back in 2022 in Williamson County. According to court records, he spent 4 days in jail for that crime. This information only here on 6 News. Well, as law enforcement continues to investigate, the Killeen Mall is assuring customers that they are safe. Now, the mall released a statement saying, quote, "It is unfortunate that this has happened, and their thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by this incident. Our top priority is the safety and well-being of our employees and guests, and we express our heartfelt sympathy to the families involved as the investigation is ongoing. We cannot provide any further comments," end quote. Happening today, the Killeen Mall will return to normal holiday hours. This after reopening yesterday. So the mall will open today starting at 10 this morning with boarded up JCPenney stores, you can see right here on your screen. But you know what? For one Killeen family that spoke with 6 News, they tell us that they are now reluctant to visit the mall or just about any public space after Saturday.
It made me reluctant. I was kind of hesitant. They kind of talked me into it. I mean, today we had a successful shopping trip. We got what we wanted, but it definitely made me anxious. Like, I was kind of on high alert, like looking, kind of scoping out exits. It kind of reminded me of like when we're in school, well, when I was in school and like school shootings would happen, everyone would kind of like get a game plan of how they would exit afterwards.
Well, the family also added that they send well wishes to everyone who was hurt in this mall situation.